Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today's video we are going to go through all of the books that I read in September. We're gonna give a little bit of a overview of my thoughts of them. Hopefully I can remember, because now it's like the 10th of October or something. Yeah, it's Friday the 10th of October, so hopefully I can remember my thoughts and opinions on them. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing the 9 books that I read in September, please keep on watching. Okay, the first one we're gonna talk about is called The Compound by Aisling Raleigh, I think her name is. I read that one. I listened to the audiobook, and I downloaded the ebook from the library. And for that one, okay, so the premise is kind of like, imagine the game show Survivor, but instead of like, actually, to be fair, I don't really know what Survivor is about, but what I imagine is like, it's like a house, kind of like Love is Blind, not Love is Blind, what's it called? The one with Lana, Too Hot to Handle. It's that type of house, but they can do activities to get more. It's like a bare bones house. They do activities and they can get things to sustain their life in the house. And at the end of each night, you have to sleep in the same bed as another contestant of the opposite sex in order to stay in the house. So if you find yourself awake the next morning without a partner, that means you're eliminated, basically. And it gets really cutthroat and interesting as it's really warm in here. I really need to turn off my heater. It gets really cutthroat and really interesting as the competition goes on. People do it obviously for like sponsorships. The main character that we're following, she's very kind of like morally gray in it, kind of for the wrong reasons. She's kind of trying to get away from her regular life, and then, you know, it's very literary fiction. It's very, what's the purpose of these type of competitions, and the whole house itself, and her relationship with all the people in the house, and it gets very entertaining towards the end. I gave it a 4.5 stars just because for me, I was expecting the ending to be a little bit more dramatic, if you will. The ending was very, like, it was a good ending to the book, but for me, who wanted the drama and who wanted the excitement of like something crazy happening at the end, like, it just wasn't there for me. But it was a good ending. It's an ending that makes sense. It's a conclusion that's calm, but for me, I ain't like that. I wanted something dramatic, so it was a 4.75 for me, but I would recommend for sure. The next book we're going to talk about is Legend Born by Tracy Dion. This one follows this girl who is in early college. So basically she just came out of high school. It's like the summer before she goes off to college, like officially, but she is in college, and one night, or actually a couple of nights, she witnesses some kind of like magical, fantastical attacks on the campus that she's in, and she finds herself caught up in this like society of witches, not really witches, but like kids who have powers, a part of like a sort of like a brotherhood, you know, like those really historical houses on campus that nobody really gets into unless you're not pristine, elite or prestigious on campus. So she finds herself involved in one of those, kind of trying to fake her, like make herself seem more important than she is, in order to find out some information about how and why her mom has passed, because the school that she's going to is the school that her mom previously went to, and she just has a feeling like this is how she's gonna find out the real reason her mom died, and she's discovering things about herself as well. And it's very entertaining. The whole entirety of the book, mind you, this is a thick book. It's like 600 pages, I think. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, it's 500 pages. It's 500 pages. It's 500 pages, and this whole thing takes place over the course of, like, I want to say maximum 2 weeks. And when I realized the timeline, I was like, babe, you've had a rough couple of weeks, huh? And I think her mom only died 3 months before this. So this book is, it's very, very fast-paced. It took a minute for me to understand kind of the different terminologies that they were using, but eventually it just kind of made sense for me. Sometimes I just ignore the specific titles and I just think fantastical or from a good bloodline or whatever, and eventually it kind of like falls into place for me. But I rated this book a 5 out of 5. This was good to me personally. I don't know if other people have issues with it, but for me, the main character is very annoying, but then I have to remind myself, like, oh, she's literally a teenager, Trudy, let's calm down. That was kind of like my only criticism of the book, but it was still 5 stars. I'm still gonna finish the series. This is the second one right there waiting for me to read it. So, but yeah, 5 stars for Legendborn. The next book we're going to talk about is The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. I feel like this book does not get enough hype. I rated this a 4.5, I think. I rated it. I stopped reading things on Goodreads just because I lost my login and I don't feel like figuring it out. So I think I'm going to rate this a 4.5 star. It's about these 3 different people who are kind of trying to find their place in the world outside of, I guess, what is the typical norm of the environments, the communities. And they kind of find their place through this one bookshop that keeps disappearing. Well, no, it's not really a quote. It does disappear. And so, you know, they're kind of unlocking their own potential, unlocking like the bookshop itself, and kind of seeing how the past influences the present. It was very, very good. It's literary fiction. I did not know that going into it. I thought it was a fantasy. It's kind of like a fantasy, but not really that crazy. Opaline, one of the main character, Opaline, love her down. Love Opaline. She's like my favorite character in this book. And then Martha and Henry are the other 2 characters where we kind of learn about their lives. This book, did I give it a 4.5? I gave it a 4.5. I love this book. The next book we're going to talk about is an unfortunate... We read Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. Now this, I think, is my first Alice Feeney book I've ever read. It was a thriller. And I will say, unfortunately, I was kind of spoiled. I was Googling the book to kind of understand what the people were saying about it online, sans spoilers, and I accidentally got a spoiler, and I was like, damn, that's unfortunate for me. And so I was spoiled, and sometimes you get spoiled in a book or in a show or something, and it's like, okay, it doesn't really take away from it. It really took away from it for me. And even without the spoiler, some parts of this book, a good chunk of this book, is kind of very like, a lot of it is set up for the entertaining parts. There's a lot of lulls in action for me personally, and so I rated it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't that good for me. The audiobook was really good though. You can see, like, it's set on an island, and there was a lot of like background sounds of like the ocean and stuff like that. Basically, let me tell you what it's about. This author loses his wife in a tragic something. She like disappears, and so he's been in a funk for the past 1.5 years, and so his publisher says, yo, let me just rent you my house on this island for like 2 months so you can get your stuff together, write me a new book, blah 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 blah. And he arrives on the island to see his missing wife, and it all goes kind of like downhill from there. He feels like he's losing his mind on this island, and it's kind of like, I don't know, he's kind of like losing his mind but also trying to find it at the same time on this island. And it's very, very, very entertaining. It's entertaining. It's kind of a fast read, but for me there was a lot of like lulls in action, and I kind of need consistent drama in order to, you know, be entertained. Next book we read was Then She Was Gone. Not the next book, but the next book on the list is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Basically, there's a teenage girl who left her house to go study at the library, and you know, it's set in London, so there's CCTV, and then so she just straight up disappears off the cameras, off the face of the earth. Like, she was doing really well in life, she has no reason to run away, and so people are like, what the heck happened to her? You know what I'm saying? And now it's 10 years later, and her mom, you know, obviously is still very much so involved in wanting to find her daughter back. Her mom is like, she meets this man, and the man has a daughter who reminds her so much of her missing daughter, right? And so she's kind of like trying to unravel the mystery. She's kind of trying to like unravel the mystery and kind of understand what happened really to her daughter, and what does that have to do with the new kid and the new man that she is involved with in her life. And again, I would give this a 3-star. I kind of knew the plot twist before the plot twist took place. I just didn't understand how specifically it was gonna go, but in my mind I already knew what was gonna happen. And then I don't know, it was just not, the ending, the conclusion was just not it for me personally. And I don't know, I was entertained but not entertained enough. Like Lisa Jewell, usually she writes fantastic books, but yeah, I don't know, this one wasn't for me. That's a 3-star. Hopefully my next Lisa Jewell will be really good. Do I have any on my TBR? I don't think so. I didn't think so, but yeah. Next is The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapina. Now this, I think, is the only thriller that I rated 4-star next month. I think everybody knows about this. This book is really old. I thrifted it. It's basically this couple, they go next door to celebrate their neighbor's birthday, but they also have a newborn kid, right? And so they decided, the neighbor doesn't like kids, so they decided not to take the baby, but their kind of resolution was every 30 minutes a parent goes and checks on the kid, and that you know, they have the baby monitor going 100% of the time so they can see what's going on over there, right? But when it's the mom's turn, like her turn to go ahead and like check on the kid, or maybe they're at the end of their time at the neighbor's house, they choose to, like, you know, they're packing up, getting ready, their back door is open, her front door is open, and the baby's missing. And so this whole book is trying to figure out what happened to the baby, who was involved, what happened to the baby, and like the suspense. It's like, basically that's what it is. We're just trying to figure out what happened to the baby and who's to blame for what happened to the baby. Okay, I gave this a 4-star. I can't really tell you what happens in it, otherwise it'll be spoiled, but I would very much so recommend this book at the end of the day. I have another book by Shari Lapina to read. I don't really remember what it is or where it went, but Couple Next Door. Yeah, there's a lot of twists in this. Some of it was kind of predictable, but some of it was like, what? I think my favorite character, I don't know who my favorite character was. Everybody was diabolical in this show, in this movie, in this book. Everybody was diabolical. Everybody was crazy. So I love the drama, so that's probably why I enjoyed it so much. The next book that the next book on the list, it's Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This is a story about these two authors who are kind of in competition with each other to write the autobiography of this super famous, or at least she used to be super famous, but now she kind of fell off the face of the earth. I think she was an actress or something. I don't know what she did, but they're trying to, like, they're in competition with each other to write her autobiography. And of course, because it's a romance, it's actually more lit fic than romance, to be honest with you. But of course, because it's a romance, they take an interest in each other. Somewhere along the journey, it goes from like enemies or competition or rivals to friends to lovers. It's definitely Grumpy Sunshine. It's definitely Black Cat Golden Retriever vibes. I enjoyed this like a lot, to be honest with you. A lot of people said it has similarities to actually the next book on my list, which is Seven Husbands, but I would disagree. This one's more about the authors lives, less about the life of the main character, like the person they're trying to write about. This one's definitely about the person they're trying to write about, you know what I'm saying? And so I rated this a 4-star. It's actually in my least favorite Emily Henry book. No, Happy Place is my least favorite. No, these two tie. But anyways, I like this book. I think it was a good palate cleanser for me. I listened to the audio, it was very good. I don't remember the characters' names, but the dude was kind of weird, to be honest with you. He was too serious for me. And the girl, I liked her optimism. I think she was a very, very good character, a very good balance of the other guys, like sadness. Not sadness, just like disappointingness of life. And so that leads me into the next one, is Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm slowly but quickly becoming a Taylor Jenkins Reid fan. I think I've read like 2 books by her now, and I've loved both of them. This is obviously a 5-star. Not obviously, but for me it is a 5-star. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning I wasn't super hooked on Evelyn as a person. Evelyn was just, I don't know, something about her was throwing me off, right? And so I was very skeptical about the whole, like, oh, she's just, you know, being so generous with her story with this one person. Oh, basically she's telling her life story to one specific reporter, and one reporter only ever. That's the one she requested. And Evelyn Hugo is like this big star, right? Think Beyonce, but of the acting world, whoever that may be. People are fighting to tell her story, right? And so she chose to tell her story to this one specific person, and then throughout the book we get her whole life story, her whole purpose of having 7 husbands, like throughout her life, and why she chose that specific person to write her autobiography. And yeah, this book hit me in the feels towards the end there. I would say probably like the last third of the book was, it had me like questioning the morals of everyone involved. I really looked at this book and I was like, I don't really know where this is gonna go, to be honest with you. And then I was like, at one point I was so into it that I fully forgot that the whole point was to find out why she chose this specific person to write her book. And when I figured it out, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a second to put 2 and 2 together, but then I was like, huh? I had to reread it multiple times, girl. This book was very, very, very entertaining. It really got you questioning all these celebrities out here. It really got you questioning, oh my god, everything you see in the news. I'm just like, this book was like, it was fantastic, to be honest with you. And yeah, Evelyn, she grew on me slowly but surely, but I'm still kind of iffy on her. Monique, which is the name of the author, I'm still kind of iffy on her. But like, for me, that's kind of like the hallmark of a good book, is like I really, really enjoyed the story, but the characters themselves piss me. Like, they just provide some kind of dimension to thinking about whether or not you enjoy a book. Like for Yellowface, for example, by R.F. Kuang, I love that book. I rated it 5 stars, but at the same time I was like, I really do not like this main character. So anyways, next book, final book of the month, was The Last House Guest by Megan Miranda. This was a reread for me, actually. I read this several years ago and I just did not remember anything about it. And so basically there's a girl that ends up missing on in this little island town, and there's her best friend is kind of the one and only suspect for it, and she's trying to clear her name. And I can't really tell you much more than that. I rated this, I think, a 3.5 star at the time of reading it. It was pretty good. It was, I don't know, I think because it's an older book, it just didn't really hit as much as a regular thriller would now. There was drama, but there wasn't as much drama as I would prefer. So that's why I only got a 3.5. The characters are kind of weird. The storyline is kind of weird. There was a lot of repetition of certain things that didn't really do it for me. But would I recommend? I don't know. If you're looking for something light, I would say yeah. So my battery's dying. Those were all of the books that I read in September. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.